All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of SaberSim's DFS office hours. It is Tuesday, June 20th of 2023 here. Looking ahead, we got an 11-game MLB main slate today with a rare MLB Millie Maker today, so good luck to all of you. If any of you are playing the Millie Maker, won a ticket or just decided to play it, good luck to all of you tonight. And then it looks like we also have the Travelers Championship teeing off Thursday morning here. So we're right in that time of the year where NBA is over, NHL is over, a lot of baseball, PGA every week, and then weekend sports, right? MMA, NASCAR, Formula One. I think we still have a league going on. So a couple other more niche sports here, but always willing to talk about any and all sports. But for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at SaberSim. It's a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. Questions can come in via support. You can reach us at support@sabersim.com. Questions come in live in the YouTube chat. Questions also come in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord, there is a link in the description below to get joined up. Highly recommend it. As always, a lot of good conversation happening over there in the individual sport channels each and every day. Get access to the rest of the SaberSim team. And then you get access to our similar channel, shows you when lineups are released, when sims are kicked off, for lineups being updated, scratches, any and all things related to lineups and the sims here. But with that being said, going to get the app pulled up here. No questions to get us started today. Kind of a quiet Tuesday. I know Tuesdays are a little lighter. We get a lot of questions on Monday from over the weekend. We get caught up, and then a little less questions here on Tuesday. But since there's no questions here, I was thinking about walking through an MLB build here, just kind of showing you guys, what I'm doing. I know I talk about it a lot, show bits and pieces of it, answering questions here, but with no questions at the moment, I thought it'd be fun to just build some lineups for this big 11-game slate today, and then just kind of narrate my way through it here. So we're going to start with that. But if anybody has any questions, throw them in the queue, and then we will circle back once I get through this segment here. But as far as rules, anything that I'm doing, the only rule that I'm using is this one-off rule. So if at least one player with a low home run expectation here, then use two players from the same team. So what I'm saying is if I have a player who, very unlikely to get a lot of points in and of by themselves, they're going to need a team environment here. I want to use that player in a stack. So I'm going to activate this rule. I'm going to set it as an auto rule. The reason I want to make sure that it's an auto rule is that if projections update throughout the day, if we have, players who are like right on the cusp of this rule here, let's say that, we said if a player has an expectation less than 0.1, right? So that means all these guys that are 0.9 and below, let's say that one of them, a sim runs, and then this Lars Nootbaar goes from 0.9 home runs to maybe 0.11, right? Let's say that he ends up batting higher in the order. He goes from like 7th to like 2nd, and that gets him some extra at bats in the sims, and then he ends up having a higher expectation. If these players get updated, if their stats get updated, with this being an auto rule, it will detect that, and then it will update the groups here. If you set this as a manual rule and save that, it will only update if you come into the rules and then hit this little refresh icon. So you have to manually update the rule for any new sims that are run here. So I like to just set this as an auto rule. And then the great thing is that the rules carry over slate to slate here. So this will always be an auto rule for any future slates here, and it'll update automatically. But as far as in the home screen, that's really all I'm doing here. I set this filter just so I don't have to see players who are not projected to be in the lineup, but I'm not setting any other rules. I'm not adjusting stack types, team stacks, anything like that. I am just simply coming in here, doing what I need to do. Let's say I'm playing the $4.20 max, which is like usually either 1 to 10K or 10 to 50K. I'm just going to leave it at 10 to 50K here. And then since I am on the pro plan here, I'm going to build this as if I'm actually building my lineups. I'm going to set this at 5,000. I've seen some talk in Discord and within the team here. If you want to lower min salary, you can here. I think it's okay to leave it at 49,000. You're just protecting yourself, getting higher projected teams overall here. But with that being said, I'm like totally okay lowering this to maybe like 45,000 and then just letting any teams some lower salary constructions into these lineups. I think the builder handles them fairly well here. So I am somebody who trusts the builder a lot. So I'm okay giving the builder more leniency here and saying, hey, it's okay if you get some lower salary lineups into my build. I'm okay with that. I'm going to accept that here. So that is something you can do. You don't have to do, but just throwing it out there. All right. Whenever our 5,000 lineups to build here, while we're waiting, Big Dog said, should using a bigger pool naturally give better lineups? I would say that, there are so many lineups that can be built on an MLB Classic slate. Like we're talking, hundreds of thousands, millions, maybe even. I really don't. I'm talking about like probably like viable lineups, lineups that you would like want to play. So the more optionality you can get, the better here, right? And I remember there was a pro video, which if you guys are on the SaberSim Pro plan here, you get access to our pro exclusive content, which comes out once a week here. And there was a video where Eric, one of our data scientists on the models team, was being interviewed by Jordan, and they were talking about what if you could run infinite sims, right? If you could run infinite sims, then your accuracy would just be so much better, right? And they got into this big theoretical conversation. It was an interesting listen here, but basically, the more sims you can run, the better here, right? So 5,000 is better than 500. 20,000 would be better than 5,000 here. You're getting more and more of those combinations, right? So we have, let's say 5,000 game sims for every game on the slate. And then when we are going to build your lineups, say at Sim Diversity 7 here, what is happening is that we are taking a group of sims from each game, and we are simulating out the slate so many times. So we might take, 30 sims of the Arizona-Milwaukee game, 30 sims of the Colorado-Cincinnati game. We're going to see how all those players score over those 30 games. Use that as the new projection when weighting your lineups here. And we're going to use that when we decide who to put in your lineup, right? But the more lineups you can build, the more combinations you get access to from those hundreds of thousands or millions of possible lineups that can be built here. So in conclusion here, I think that yes, bigger pools will just get you more lineups, and then you can find better lineups from there, right? So much more likely to find more good lineups from 5,000 lineups total than 500, right? So I would always set the pool size to whatever the maximum you can run for the account that you are on. All right, I'm going to make two adjustments, two projections here. Just going to make a 0.01 adjustment, make it very, very small here. So this has minimal impact on my build. Let's say that I'm running, let's say I'm doing 150 lineups just because I built a big pool of 5,000 here. So right off the bat, going to increase my mini uniques to about 5, which I've talked about a lot, how I like to do this here. We see the effect that it has on my exposures, right? So in 150 lineups at 1 mini unique, we have about 3 players at 80% and a lot of players over 45%. And if I bump this up to 5, our player pool goes from 118 players to 160 players. And then now no player is owned over 44% here. So looking good so far. Want to see how far down in my pool I'm going already. So I'm already at lineup 1,040. So this puts me about 20% of the way down my pool. I'm okay with this. I think it's like if you use mini uniques, you get to a spot. If you're somebody who likes to tinker, I think that, if your mini uniques are by doing mini uniques first, if you end up more than halfway through your pool, I would probably walk it back a little bit, just because any further adjustments you're going to make are probably going to make you go searching in your pool even further. And I don't think it's a great baseline to start super far down in your pool. If you're somebody who wants to value the top lineups more, which is me, right? Jordan likes to get as diverse as possible, which is okay, but I like to, really value like the top 50% of my pool here. All right, gonna go check my stack types. I don't love some of these lineups here where, they're in a very small percentage of my pool and then they're getting into my lineup set. So I like 0.3% for 1-1-1-1 stacks here, or is it 4-1-1? Something like that. Yeah, I think it's 4 and then 4 one-offs. So a 4 stack and then 4 one-offs. I have 0.3% of my pool, and I just so happen to have 2 of those lineups in my set. So I'm going to get rid of that one. It's not my favorite here, just because I think that, to me, I want it to come up a certain amount of times in the pool before I'm okay with it. I don't love this 3-3 stack here, but I'm going to leave it. We have some like 3-2-2s. We have some 3-3-2s. So, I don't think the 3-2-2 is so different from this 3-3. So I'm just going to leave them for now. I'm a little more open to playing 3 stacks in general. Don't care too much about game stacks. Team stacks here looks interesting. A ton of Arizona. Interesting. So we have 47% Arizona. We only have 7% Arizona 5 stacks here. So I find that extremely interesting. A lot of Arizona 4 stacks, a lot of Arizona 3 stacks, and a lot of Arizona 2 stacks here. I think that it's fine to lower this. I'm kind of okay with it because these stacks are a little smaller in general, but just to be a little risk averse here, I'm going to drop it down to like 35% and basically trying to say like, hey, I don't want to use any team in more than a third of my lineups here. I didn't do any research here, so I don't really have any takes on the slate as far as like research builds or anything like that. But getting over here to my batters and pitchers, Corbin Carroll is in a ton of my lineups, which I'm kind of okay with. I'm not super far down in my pool, and I'm almost done here. So even though I'm at 12-15, I'm kind of okay increasing my mini uniques to 6, just because we haven't gotten that far down yet, right? So at this point, I'm thinking, hey, do I want to come in here and lower some of my exposures to my batters, especially these guys up at the top, especially these Arizona guys, right? I have my top 4 batter exposures are all Arizona of over 22%. But instead of doing that, the best way to do it to me is to increase mini uniques. It's going to come down to how far down in my pool I am. So I'm only at lineup 12-15. So I'm not even halfway through my pool yet. So I'm actually okay letting SaberSim adjust the exposures here for me and going further down in my pool. So now I get to lineup 26-72, which is just over half here. Now no batters over 25%. I actually like this a lot. I like this a lot more than doing it manually here. And then if I come over to my pitchers, no pitcher over 35%. I would be okay if there was a pitcher over 35%. But there isn't, right? It looks like we're getting most positive leverage on Justin Verlander, which makes sense. He's positive leverage in our pool as a whole here. Slight negative leverage on Garrett Cole. We're not too far under here, even though we're under on the pool, which is okay. Positive leverage on Crawford. Pretty close with Cease. So overall, I think my pitchers look fine. It seems like our big stands here are Verlander and Cutter Crawford. And then Cutter Crawford is very low salary with a fairly high projection here. But pitchers look fine. No batter over 26%. No stack over 31% here. We're about halfway through our pool. I can come back one more time to my stack types here and circle back. This is probably something that I don't like here, is that our highest exposed stack is our 3-2-2s now, and they're actually really low in our pool. So I don't love this here. So I'm going to lower it to match the next highest one at 16% here for these 5-2s. So basically it's like, okay, I get it. The builder likes these 3-2-2s. It can play them, but it's just not going to play them any more than it's going to play the next highest stack. And then this brings it closer in line to the rest of these stack types here. So they're 16.7%, 16, 14, 12.7. All these are a lot closer than that 3-2-2 outlier at 22.7% exposure here. So I think that's better. It shouldn't have a huge effect on anything else that we've done here, which I'm not seeing, which I'm happy with. So overall, I would be happy submitting this set here, right? Lowest lineup is still above 3,000. And, these are kind of spread out here, right? So we had 3 in the 2700s. We are playing 150 lineups here, so don't want to dive into this too much here, but I think this is okay. I think one last thing that you could do is come to the top and then make sure you know that you're not the adjustments that you made did not get rid of all your top lineups, right? So lineup 1, lineup 3, lineup 20. I'm still playing like 5 lineups in my top 100. It might be a little low, but I'm fairly okay with this overall. So I like this lineup set. I would take this into my build. This is without having really any takes on the slate here, but this is me walking through an MLB process here. I think all things considered, without narrating it, once you kind of get in the groove of doing something along these lines, this can take a fairly short amount of time here, right? And that's one thing that I think that we pride ourselves on is that, SaberSim, you do not need to set a bunch of rules in the home screen. You do not need to tinker with all of these different drop downs, the stack types, the team stacks, the combinations, the projections, the ownership, the min exposures, right? You can just come in here, hit build, get good correlated lineups here, and then get a diverse set right off the bat. So that is me walking through a MLB process for today's slate here. All right, Marvin said, do you have any Saber 2.0 strategy videos for League of Legends? The builder seems to point me to the obvious strong plays based on odds / pace of play, but I'm still trying to identify solid underdog plays. Okay, so let's go over to League here. This is a good question. Okay, so when you pull up League, just so you guys know, what you see here are the odds for the match, right? So UP is a dog at plus 142. RA is a favorite at minus 173 here. This 2-game slate that looks like it already is live here. Pretty evenly matched, right? Nothing crazy here. So I think that, if you go over to our YouTube channel, we have some older League of Legends content. I still think it's good. I still think that it makes a lot of sense here and is viable in the 2023 League of Legends ecosystem here. So if you go to our YouTube channel and then you go to, I think you can go 2 places. If you go to playlists, there should be an esports channel here, Daily Fantasy Esports over here on the right. We have these 3 videos. They're all a little older, but I've listened to them and I've used the information on these within the last year, probably even within the last 6 months here. And I think a lot of it is still sound. One thing that you could do is, understand that League is highly correlated, right? And you're going to see these super high correlations, right? 0.95, 0.94, et cetera here. So these are some of the highest correlations that you're going to see, way higher than hockey, way higher than MLB. So forcing a stack is totally viable with League here. So I think it's okay to come in here and then say, stack at least 4 here. I think that this is totally okay to have to force a 4 stack. I think you're probably going to get it naturally as well, with correlation being even at a moderate level, just with how high these correlation coefficients are. I think that you're going to get a lot of stacks naturally here. Another thing here is to understand what the field wants to do, what the field doesn't want to do, right? So I think that the most popular player to put in your captain spot is usually an ADC, right? So a lot of people are playing ADC captains. I'm not saying you shouldn't play them, but I'm saying if there are other viable options at mid or jungle to get into that position, that can benefit you, right? And then another thing is that you never really want to support in your captain, usually just not scoring enough points to be viable in the captain spot. So I think it's totally okay to avoid support in your captain here. So I think that what you can do is come into the captain, sort by position, and then just come in here and uncheck all these support players, saying like, hey, I know I'm not going to want them in my captain spot. And then that gets rid of that. That gets rid of them in this one position specifically here. But they will still be checked in the support drop down, so you don't have to worry about that, right? So that is just some general tips here about league that I know. So actually, I forgot to put SaberSim back up. Let me get SaberSim back up. So what I was showcasing is that if you go into so I showcased the odds here, right? Don't know if I did that before or after the YouTube stream. And then if you go to captain, what you can do is sort by position and then just uncheck these support players if you know you're not going to want them. So if you uncheck them from the captain, if you go over to support, they're still going to be checked. So it's not going to affect all of your positions here, just the captain spot. So I think that, it's generally support's just not going to score enough to be viable in that position. But just some general thoughts for you guys. Those are like my big takeaways for league. I try and keep it really simple. Our model is super good. If you've ever heard Will talk about it, Will created the League of Legends model. He is a very avid player, I guess, in the DFS lobby. If you see Performed Racer at the top of your contest, that's very normal, right? So Will is very skilled in all things esports. If you have any more esports questions, jumping in the Discord and dropping a message in the esports channel, that's one way to get access to players who are playing more often, players who are in that channel, right, are going to be around. So even will be around in that channel. So check out the Discord and then post any additional questions there. But those are some general tips for League of Legends here. All right. We are all caught up with questions at the moment here. See, we have people, continuing to tune in. Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good Tuesday. If you guys have any questions, now is a great time to get them in while I talk about Owner's Box for a little bit here. So if you guys have any last questions you want to get in, now is a great time to do that. But if you guys are not playing over on Owner's Box, I highly recommend you take advantage of it. We partnered up with Owner's Box at the beginning of the MLB season here. They are a smaller up-and-coming DFS site. The contests on Owner's Box overlay very frequently. Sometimes they're paying you to play the contest. Sometimes the contests are rake-free. And then either the contest will have reduced rake here, which will be, less than what you're going to have to pay on DraftKings, FanDuel, or Yahoo. And then also the competition will be softer than what you will find on those other sites because a lot of the top players are not playing on Owner's Box just yet. But aside from that, if you use promo code SABER or SaberSim, when you sign up, you get a $500 deposit bonus here. We will track your entry fees as well, and you can earn 3 months of SaberSim just by playing on the site. There is no limit to the amount of credit that you can earn. So if you are playing, you reach the first entry fee threshold of $3,500 in entry fees, we will reach out to you, say, hey, you have earned a free month of SaberSim. Do you want to cash in on that? If you say yes, we will reset your tracking to 0. And then each additional time you reach that threshold, we will grant you your free month. But really good promotion. Highly recommend taking advantage of it while you can. Looks like that's it for today. We'll be right back here tomorrow for our Wednesday show. If anybody is playing DFS today, which I'm sure you guys are, building lineups, question pops in your head, drop it in the Office Hours channel. Let it sit there until tomorrow. Gets us a steady queue of questions to get started with at the beginning of our next show. But until then, take care. Good luck in your contests. I will see you all. Thanks. Bye.